49 Charter Street, the petitioner is seeking to change the occupancy from a 6-family residential dwelling to an 8-family residential dwelling, also to erect a 1-story addition, legalize the existing basement and living space, and to renovate the building. The building is to have a full sprinkler system, and I'll let Dan take away.
Once again, Mr. President, thank you for the record. Daniel Toscano, regular Toscano's attorney at law, 15 Broad Street, Boston, Mass. Scott from Trim Associates is passing out some handouts to follow along on the PowerPoint presentation, but you have a full set of drawings for you if you want to follow along with the drawings. So, 49 Charter Street. We're seeking to change the occupancy from a 6-family residential dwelling to a 7-family residential dwelling. We're going to legalize the ground level unit and add a 1-story addition to the rear of the property, so unit number 6 can have a duplex apartment. You may remember this proposal came before the Northern Waterfront Neighborhood Council and the Resident Association a few months back, and the proposal was to change it from a 6 to an 8 and add a full 1-story addition that covers almost the entire roof. They have a unit number 8 on top. There was a tremendous amount of, I don't want to say tremendous, but there was opposition from residents of 57 Charter Street as some of these windows were impacted. So we went back to the drawing board, worked with Scott, worked with my client, Sim Weller, who apologizes for not being here. Dr. Weller is working currently tonight, so he couldn't be here tonight, so he apologizes. So we went back to the drawing board and we made a significant change and wanted to bring this to the council's attention and hopefully for a new vote. So moving forward, we just told you what our proposal is to change the occupancy from a 6 to a 7, add a 1-story addition to the rear of the property, legalize the existing ground unit level. Lot size is approximately 1,687 square feet. It's in a multi-family residential sub-district. Little BPGA site map. So this is Foster Street. We are one building in from Foster Street to the left, and here's Michelangelo. So you can get an idea of where this is. And right here is 57, and right between our building and 57 is about a 5 to 6 foot walkway, an alleyway. So separation between the buildings, which is really not shown here, but there is one. So as you can see it here. And here's our property. So our property, the existing property, those who can remember, there was originally 2 buildings. There's the front building, which housed 3 units, and the back building is 3 units. Front building is approximately 35 feet in height. The back building is only about 29 feet high. So what we did was combine the 2 properties. We legalized it as a 6-family residential dwelling. Both buildings were 3 families. And what our client did, there's a resident currently, and it's a former owner of the property, if you can remember. The former owner of the property has been living in the ground level unit for approximately 10 years. Mr. Weller has made an agreement with the owner or the former owner that he can stay there in a life tenancy for the remainder of his life when the building is renovated. And we will legalize that unit for him because he wants to remain where he is. He's been there 10 years, he's comfortable there, and that's where he wants to remain. So Dr. Weller has agreed to keep him there in a life tenancy. So this is an existing site of the property. As you can see, it's much lower than most of the buildings here. So once again, we trigger some zoning violations as we apply for our work permit. So once again, FAR 3.0, the previous proposal with the full 1-story addition on the roof and legalizing the ground unit, we were going to 3.7. But eliminating the full 1-story addition and adding probably about 440 or 450 square feet to the top, we're going to be proposed FAR is 3.42. Open space, you've heard it a number of times. In a multifamily residential subdistrict, you have to have 100 square feet of open space per residential unit. We are not proposing any roof decks other than this unit number 6. There is going to be a proposed back deck, not on the roof, but just off the 1-story addition. It's probably about 50 square feet and we're not proposing any other open space, and the roof will remain pretty open. So we're going to be in violation of the open space. Parking violation. We have 6 residential units. By adding 1 more residential units, we're going to trigger a parking violation because we have to add 1 parking spot. As you know, in this particular site, and most sites here in the North End, we have nowhere to put parking, so we're going to be in violation. We can't put parking on site. We got a roof structure violation. By adding the 1-story addition here, many times we are changing the structure of the existing roof. So we trigger a violation of section Article 5418 by adding the 1-story addition. The other violation now these violations are from the previous zoning code refusal letter. When we filed our new plans, I haven't heard back yet from the plans examiner, but I anticipate we're going to have a rear yard violation. It would only be back 6 feet, 6 inches. It's, so that's going to trigger a violation. So we haven't received a new zoning code refusal letter yet. So those who may remember, last proposal we had, our proposal is this. Set it back, this is an existing head house. Existing head house is going to remain, but we're set back from the street 21 feet, and we went all the way to the back, almost to the back, about 10 feet off. And we impact, you can see the impacts that we had on some of these windows. We had opposition from the owner of this particular unit, and we had opposition from this unit. This is a duplex unit for 4B and 5B. We had opposition there and opposition here. The new proposal, we still have opposition from this back one, and you'll see why. So moving forward, this is the change that we have made, so you can see the significant difference. We're not putting anything on the front roof. This head house is remaining, it's existing, it has a stairwell in there, so that would be the same. So it goes all the way to the back property. And it's a 12-foot addition, and you can see the previous site plan, that was the proposed addition for unit number 8. However, based on the concerns of the residents and especially the abutters, this is what we're proposing now. And this here is an existing head house, and we're going to utilize that head house for the interior stairwell for unit number 6. Do you need me to go through the entire floor plan with you? Because I will. If you
Just like
a really quick. So, unit number 1, this is a existing unit where the former owner lives. So that's going to be renovated to a roughly 600-some square foot, 1-bedroom. This is going to be mechanicals, storage, sprinkler room. Moving forward, we have unit number 3, unit number 2, 2-bedroom residential unit, 1-bedroom residential unit, 600 plus square feet. These units over here are a little bit smaller, probably, Scott, 450 square feet roughly.
They're under 4. They're like
4, right here, under 400, so existing units just being renovated. Unit number 5, 2-bedroom residential unit, and this is unit number 4. And moving forward, unit 7 and unit number 6. So here's where we're making the change. Unit number 6, where the interior stairwell, which is the existing head house, is going to be used, still going to remain as a 1-bedroom unit, and you're going to use the stairwell, and this is the existing head house, and that's our additional square footage, about 430 to 50 square feet, 350?
It's about 350.
350 square feet, I didn't say 4, so 350 square feet. We're going from the existing 12 bedrooms in the building to, with the changes that we're making, to 10 bedrooms. So we're going down in bedrooms. And so this is just the front elevation. You're not going to be able to see it from Charter Street. This is just for architectural purposes, I guess, Scott, but it's going to be all the way in the back, right?
Exactly.
Right. This was our previous proposal. If everybody remembers, it was a 15-foot high addition, and the reason why it was that big, because we wanted to make it even when we did the 1-story addition to the front of the property, so we can make the roof flat, make it a flat roof. So
It was for suitable head height because the building's floor plates are at varying heights from front to back, So since we have a higher roof in the front, to get a minimum of 7.6 for that minimum head height clearance for habitable space, we actually had to go higher in the front portion of the building and it carried to the rear. Since we're removing that and we're just going to the rear of the building, we've thus lowered the height of the addition of the back as well.
So the new proposal is only 12 feet in height, and 11 feet in height, and we have some outdoor space. And the new height of the building is only going to be, what, 40 feet to the top, Scott?
The new proposal, let's see, about 41 from 34,
All right.
11.
So 40 feet. This was the previous side elevation. This is our current side elevation, as you can see. And in a new sun study.
Existing on the top.
So, spring. So the existing is the top. We got 9, 12, and 3 p.m. So at 9 o'clock, you see a little bit of shadow. At noontime, no shadows at all. And then at 3 o'clock, the sun is over here, so the shadow's coming this way. So as you can see, we have a little fill-in over here of some shadows at 9 o'clock. At noontime, down below here, we got just a little bit, and then there's no impact on us at 3 o'clock in the spring as the sun is shifted. Moving forward to the summer, as you can see here, existing, noontime, 3 o'clock, a little bit of shadow down here, none at noontime, and no change at 3 o'clock. Fall, as you can see, 9 o'clock existing, noontime, and 3 o'clock. Moving forward here, we fill in a little bit of sun here at 9 o'clock. At noontime, sun is a little bit of shadow down here, and at noontime, once again, the sun being over here, we're not impacted shadows. The winter, as you can see, the majority of the shadow here at 9 o'clock, noontime, and 3 o'clock. We fill in a little shadow here. We fill just a little at noontime, and once again, 3 o'clock, no impact. We've worked closely with Joanna at 57 Charter Street. So Joanna is still strongly opposed to the proposal. Her opposition rests in the fact that these are her 4th floor windows right here, and our 1-story addition will be going over just above her 4th floor windows, and her concerns that we'll be blocking some sun, some views, and some privacy and some airflow. So we've done our best to work with the community, make significant changes, but as you know, anything we do, any development here in the neighborhood, is going to have some impacts. This is her unit. She has the 5th floor as well. It's a duplex unit, but we are having some impacts on Joanna's 4th floor windows. So, but we continue to work with her. Hopefully we can, but can't deny that this 1-story addition is going to be near her windows. So that's the presentation.
Thank you, Dan. Just for clarification, I think that, can you explain the purpose of the roof deck, or the extension of the deck coming out the back?
Just to provide a little open space in terms of, that's it. You know, it's Scott, what do you say?
Yeah, it's not, the
40,
building,
50 square feet? I mean, not even, I don't know.
yeah, it's very small. The building isn't even coming close to being the requirement for the open space, so anytime we have the opportunity to try to integrate some of that into the building, to make the building a better environment for people that live there, we try to do so. So that was the premise behind the walkout.
Right.
Very small though, it's only about 5 feet in depth than the width of the building.
There's a deck on the Foster Street entrance too, right next to the zoo.
There's no exterior decks in this building.
No,
I know.
So there is,
Adjacency on the
all
Foster
right,
Street
so
entrance,
on,
is what I'm saying.
so
I'm saying I believe there's already a
So-
deck right next door.
there's a, right here,
Yeah.
it's a 3-story building. I believe it's a little, it might be below us, might not, but there's an open deck. And I'm not sure we're impacting them, as our existing head house is here, and it's gonna remain. We're just fixing it, so, and I don't know if they would be strongly opposed.
I just brought that up because
Yeah.
usually the opposition is the deck, but if they're already used to a deck next door, then the
Right.
neighbors might doesn't, you're not changing much in that part of the.
They might appreciate the privacy.
And we're not blocking the entire opening. There's an opening from the back of, this is 47 Charter Street, and I believe that might be the Martinetti property with the new addition. And there's an opening right there, which is the single-family 3-story that have the.
There's a nice
that-
window.
Yeah, so there's an opening, and we're not blocking the whole thing. Actually, that's our existing head house, so we're not going beyond it.
Anyone else from the council with questions?
Is there a window looking into?
No, we took off the windows. That was a concern of Joanna at 57 Charter Street. The original plan had some windows on the side, but we eliminated the windows, and that's why we proposed kind of bigger windows and some nice slider. So we took away the windows on the side and put some skylights, as you can see right here. So grab some air and light.
Can you go to the sun study?
Which summer, spring, fall? I mean,
Let's go with
take
fall.
your pick. All right, fall. All right, we're in fall.
So where is Joanna's?
So Joanna is probably,
The prints that you have are actually a little bit more updated than the slide. You see here, the windows have been added to those.
Oh, yeah.
So you can actually see her windows in relationship to the overcast.
The last couple pages.
so she's the top floor and the fourth floor, so,
She's the top two?
yes, the top, fifth and the fourth, yeah. You got-
Come on. All right. Okay, thank you.
Also, if you look at the rear elevation, I kind of sketched in her building, so you can see the relationship of her window and how it sets to what would be this proposed addition.
Sorry, say that again.
If you go to the A 2.1 sheet, there is a proposed rear elevation, and you actually see a section of her building on your handout. And it actually has the height on there of the relationship of her windows, what would be that addition. A2.1, excuse me.
A2.1,
It's on the upper, to the right. I think you have it crossed out.
yeah. You ever see that? You got it?
So her finished floor is approximately about just over a foot higher than what would be our finished floor at that level. So it's relatively at the same height, but there is no proposed windows on that side of the building. The only glass is to the rear and skylights, as Dan had noted.
Is she an owner?
She's owned.
She owns from the back to the front, correct?
No, she owns the back. It was originally 2 units, she owns the fourth floor, the 4B and 5B, and it's a duplex. Right.
Okay, so on 5B, she still has access to, she's in the clear right there.
Right, we're not going, she'll be looking right over this.
So she owns a 2-floor duplex.
Right.
It's just the first floor that's losing it.
Just-
She still has that sunlight on the
Yes,
second
She
floor.
really does. So the fifth floor, we're not, she's gonna be looking, those windows are right over our rooftop. Second.
And Joanna was made aware of the meeting, right?
She's away, unfortunately, but I think that at the North End Residents Association, there was a letter that was read into the record testimony. She's strongly opposed to it. She still is. We've had discussions with her, so I'll just tell, all right.
I have 2 oppositions,
All right.
I'll read it to her. It wouldn't-
Yeah, it's fine, so she's aware, and she would have been here if she was away. So here's our proposed addition. This is her fifth floor window, so she has really 5. 1, 2, this is a double window, and that's the fifth one, and then these,
Same below.
yeah, same below.
Is that her roof deck?
She has a roof, private roof deck, her exclusive to her, in the,
So she has 4B, 5B, with private roof deck.
I believe it's B.
I know, it's fine.
Yeah,
but
it's
ultimately,
4 or
trying to
5,
picture
yeah.
everyone's head. So
Yeah.
you have 2 duplex and a private roof deck on top.
And
Right.
actually, due to the height of 57, there's actually more shadow cast on on our building that we're proposing the addition for, pre-existing than ever would be from the addition. Just due to the height of the adjacent building, it's not going to get any after the sun ever, unfortunately.
Do we have any more questions from the council before? I'm just going to read in before I open it up to the audience. I'm just going to read in the two opposition letters from John and Joanna Daly first, 57 Charter. So the proposed project includes an additional floor to the building that, when originally presented, was designed to go from the back of 49 to 49A Charter Street to the front. In response to some concerns that were raised, Dr. Weller had the plans redrawn. While we appreciate his attempts to address some of these concerns, the redesign has not addressed any of our issues and has created concerns for owners living in the back of 57 Charter Street. While Dr. Weller's revised addition is smaller, its direct impact to our unit has remained unchanged. This project will result in the following: significant loss of natural sunlight to our unit, lack of airflow through our unit. Our unit and its windows are on the side facing his building. The additional floor will now result in all of our windows to face a wall that is 6 feet away. Lack of privacy. Please know that the prior drawings did not include a deck. The revised plans include a deck which would be right outside of our window. When Dr. Weller purchased the building, he knew at the time that it came with a tenant from which income cannot be received. This project is being proposed for the sole reason of recouping his losses, and it's being done at our expense. Dr. Weller will not be residing in this building, rather this will be a rental property only. We are losing sunlight, airflow, and privacy, and will now have to look at a wall 6 feet away so that Dr. Weller can make money. His efforts to make a dollar are negatively impacting our quality of life and reducing the value of our home, which shouldn't be allowed. My husband has lived there his whole life, and I've been there for 20 years. We've all seen this neighborhood change over time. Strangers with a lot of money purchasing buildings with the sole intention of renting out the units. Those of us who live here and contribute to the neighborhood are the ones that have to endure the consequences that these purchases bring. While we may not be able to stop all the change that negatively impacts our community, projects like this are where we have to say no. So before I go on to the next letter, aside from any character attacks or anything, comments on character,
Well,
do you have anything to?
No, I certainly want to attack Joanna. She has every right to express her opposition. I can understand her opposition. There are some impacts to the fourth floor windows. Dr. Weller proposed a plan, came back to the community with a significantly different plan. I think, as I said earlier, everything we do in this neighborhood, the project, is going to have some impacts. This is a dense neighborhood. In terms of finances, I can't address Dr. Weller's finances. He's owned this property. He owns other property here in the North End. He's a good landowner, and she's right. She's not going to live there. It's going to beautify the building. It's going to bring it up to code, sprinkle the building. And it's going to keep a former owner there that wants to remain there for the life tenancy, and to beautify one of the units that's, and you see those back units are very small, to try to gain a little extra living space and beautify that unit. It's not unreasonable, and that's it. But I understand the concerns. I wish we weren't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm just going to read the second letter in opposition of receipt to this project from 57 Charter Street as well, Mr. Kevin Shannon. So just real quick, my unit is on one of the floors beneath the proposed addition in the alley between the two buildings. Although my windows are in the alleyway, they receive direct sunlight from the above 49 Charter Street in the spring through the summer months. Valuable sunlight in the northern facing unit. Based on my review of the building plans, this expansion of the roof of 49 Charter Street will block all sunlight from my unit year-round. In addition to concerns I had for the comfort and value of my apartment, my neighbors upstairs will be more severely affected. This is the worst-case scenario for their quality of life and home, and I hope the expansion plans are not realized for their sake as well as mine. So,
Yeah, once again, I thank him for his comments, but I believe the letter wasn't really, as he writes it in his letter, was really the concern of the person above him, but I don't think we're having any impacts on people that are below there. Maybe a little sort of shadow, maybe a little bit, but really not significant at all.
So with that, any other further questions from the council before I open it up? So then, I'll open it up to the audience here. Yes, sir.
So we live actually below Joanna. We're in Unit 3B. And we live there.
I'm sorry, can you just say your name?
Dan McLaughlin, Unit 3B. We don't live there anymore, we live in Charlestown. We needed extra space and we were able to get parking. We rent the unit currently, but we did live in that unit for 5 years. And I can just say that we're gonna get we're the most impacted by the lack of sunlight. You definitely do get sunlight in the afternoon. And this proposed building is gonna completely block out our sunlight entirely. Joanna gets affected significantly as well, but I think we're mostly impacted by it. So we're definitely opposed and agree with Joanna's remarks.
Yeah, no, I, based on the sun study that Truman Associates put together, there's some minor impacts to.
Yeah, the word minor,
I think it is, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean,
where you were putting the pen, the little
Yeah.
pointer, that's our unit, where you were saying
Right
minor,
here?
so it just kind
All
of.
right, so you have some shadows, all right, no, thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, we have 4 units facing
Okay.
there, and the shadow's completely cast on our
Okay.
building, so,
I appreciate your comment.
yeah, of course.
And what, I'm sorry, what unit was that again?
3B, right
3B.
below.
So right below
Yeah.
the 4B. Okay, perfect. And so you guys live there currently, or?
We lived there for 5 years, we moved out last year,
Okay.
yeah.
We expect to hold on to this property for a while.
Yeah.
So you guys still own it? You guys
We
still
own it.
occupy the building?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Intention of potentially moving back and,
yeah,
you know.
we hope to move back here one day, you know, we love the neighborhood, so.
Any other questions from the audience?
And this unit, this entire building is just, it's rental units, correct? No one,
Correct.
it's not owner occupied?
It will not be.
So, without any further questions from members of the council, I will ask the council to cast their vote and pass it into Tina.
Mr. President, members of the board, always thank you, appreciate it.
Dan.